250,000 snowmobilers in Minnesota, and this is where they love to ride. Businesses and the jobs they create rely on your trips north. Tonight, a timber company that owns the land is threatening to shut down those top-notch trails.
It'll be no trespassing, and that's what it'll be. It'll be private land with no trespassing.
Minnesota victims of child sex abuse hoping for a change that will open the door to justice.
I feel like I'm doing something to help the next kid not be as vulnerable as I am.
Tomorrow, victims of child sex abuse will be at the state capitol fighting for other victims. Legislation at the Capitol would eliminate any deadline for victims of sex abuse to file a civil suit. But a group of religious leaders warns that the change could create more victims. 5 Eyewitness News reporter Mark Albert is live at the Capitol to explain why. Mark?
Leah, the bill gets its first hearing here at noon tomorrow. Right now, there's a statute of limitations that caps how long someone can wait to go after their perpetrator in civil court. This bill would get rid of those limits completely.
I was John Doe 76C.
His name and his abuse had been hidden until Jim Keenan went public and lost.
It just felt empty. It was over.
Keenan says as an Apple Valley altar boy, his parish priest abused him beginning when he was 13.
Here's a picture from 9th grade.
At 38, he sued. But the Minnesota Supreme Court decided the statute of limitations had long since expired.
There was nothing more I could do until I got calls about this bill that was being written.
Keenan will testify on Thursday at the Capitol in support of a bill that would eliminate the statute of limitations on child sex abuse claims.
I think it would give a lot of hope to people whose cases were tossed out like mine, because it validates that the justice system is ready to receive you when you're ready to heal.
Those folks need the flexibility to be able to get justice.
Representative Steve Simon has paired up with fellow DFLer Ron Latz in the Senate to introduce the bill, the most sweeping version in the past decade.
It's not right that after age 24, the courthouse door is shut in the face of those who face these horrible crimes.
You have people who have died, you have memories that have faded, you have records that can't be found.
Retired Lutheran pastor Karen Bockelman says the Minnesota Religious Council, which she leads, is concerned the bill goes too far and may even end up hurting more victims.
The earlier a report is made, the more quickly a perpetrator can be removed, and therefore the chance is much better to prevent further abuse.
Right now, lawsuits are barred once a child abuse victim passes 24 years of age or 6 years after the abuse. Senate Judiciary Chairman Ron Latz told us his bill is a way to restore dignity to those victims. There are members of both parties that support this bill, including one of the Senate Republican leaders. Live at the Capitol, Mark Albert, 5 Eyewitness News.
We checked some other states and we found that Delaware, California, and Hawaii have passed similar legislation extending the limits for civil suits. All three include wording, though, that doesn't get rid of the statute of limitations necessarily for past cases, but allows victims to file suit if they finally remember the crime decades later. A man spent nearly a half hour in frigid water last night after his snowmobile went over the Rum River Dam. Bill Lund picks up this amazing survival story. Bill, this is something we brought our viewers as breaking news last night.
Oh, what a story it was, Leah. He suffered a broken back, but's thankful to be alive. We're hearing from that snowmobiler who flew over the dam last night in Anoka. 21-year-old Jeff Hayes is recovering in the hospital after being in that icy water for nearly half an hour. Happened at the dam near Main Street in downtown Anoka. Hayes says he got too close to the dam, then decided to accelerate and try to jump it to prevent going into the river. His snowmobile, there it is, ended up on the ice. He ended up in the water. He climbed onto the ice and was rescued after crews threw him some ropes.
I was looking around for help, but I couldn't find anybody, and then so I just laid there on my back until somebody would come, and finally, about a half hour later, somebody came.
Hayes underwent surgery this afternoon. He is expected to make a complete recovery.
The decision I have made after much prayer is the fruit of a serene trust in God's will, the deep love of Christ's church.
No one alive has ever seen a pope say goodbye like this. A frail Pope Benedict made his last public appearance today before stepping down. Thousands of Catholics packed St. Peter's Square and gave him a long standing ovation as he rode by in the Pope-mobile, even stopped to kiss a baby. Benedict got very emotional, saying his time as Pope was filled with both joy and sadness. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. our time, Pope Benedict will be whisked away in a helicopter to his temporary home, a palace outside of Rome. We know he'll be called Pope Emeritus in his retirement. He'll continue to wear a white robe, but he will lose his red shoes and his symbolic ring will be smashed. There are still a number of questions tonight, and the University of St. Thomas is trying to answer them. Ellen McNamara is here with that story. Ellen?
Bill, the theology department at the University of St. Thomas just wrapped up a discussion that addressed the consequences of Pope Benedict's resignation. They also tried to clear up any confusion of this unprecedented event. And normally, the College of Cardinals can't select a new pontiff until 15 to 20 days after the office becomes vacant. But this resignation is a rare exception. And at the university tonight, panelists spoke about the pressure on Cardinals to get someone in place before Easter. Here's the timeline. The conclave starts Friday. The Cardinals will celebrate Mass, then they will enter the Sistine Chapel and be locked in to vote. Cardinals vote 4 times every day. The person who becomes the next pope has to have 2/3 of that vote. The shortest conclave lasted a few hours, the longest 3 years. One of the panelists said up until now, we've all looked at the Pope as the absolute monarch, but Pope Benedict's resignation has changed that view.
By resigning, the Pope has said the office of Peter, being Pope, is more important than my being Pope.
And like Catholics around the world, the university will be keeping a very close eye on Vatican City. In fact, at the Student Center, massive screens will be set up so that people on campus can watch everything live that's happening in St. Peter's Square. Bill, back to you.
Yeah, it's very exciting to watch. Let's hope they get it done, though, Ellen, in less than 3 years. Well, a Robbinsdale woman watched her husband disappear beneath the waves in Mexico last night, and she says help never arrived. Nancy Stoneberg says her husband was body surfing near Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, when riptides dragged him out to sea. She says there was no rescue effort from the resort or local police, and he is still missing.
My husband is very likely dead, and we have nothing.
The family is still looking for whatever kind of help they can get. At last check, there were some search planes that were apparently on the way, but that's nearly 24 hours too late. Leah?
We are relying on e-pull tabs to pay the state's portion of the new Viking Stadium. But with that already millions of dollars short, an old word is back to fill in: Racino. Some believe that it may help pay for the new Viking Stadium. 5 Eyewitness News reporter Naomi Peskovitz is live outside of Running Aces in Columbus tonight. Naomi?
Well, Leah, the folks here at Running Aces think this could be a double jackpot. Bring business here and also raise tens of millions of dollars for the state. And with a stadium to build, this could be the time to gamble. When mixing slots with horses, this isn't Representative Tom Hackbarth's first rodeo.
I've carried Racino bill a number of years. I've been a co-sponsor of the bill. I've been a huge supporter of Racino.
For more than a decade, Racino's had its try at the Capitol, but now could be the lucky shot. Slots could generate more than $100 million a year, and Hackbarth says the current stadium funding plan may not pan out.
There's a lot of people that are still saying that electronic pull tabs are going to come into their own. We have to get more machines out there. I don't think that's going to happen.
E-pull tabs are bringing in millions less than many had hoped.
The general fund of the state of Minnesota is backing the bonds on the stadium. And there's going to be a hole in the stadium if these electronic pull tabs don't bring in the money.
Running Aces says the bill is right on track, but Canterbury Park says it isn't pursuing slots. They're in a more than $80 million agreement with Mystic Lake to keep it that way.
First Vice Chair.
The Minnesota Racing Commission has shown support for Racinos. That doesn't mean the bill will pass this time around.
I can't really speculate on whether or not there will or will not be a Racino. It went on for about 13 years. And consistently, Minnesota has said no, no, no.
And the bill will be introduced tomorrow. If passed, it would allow for slots both here and at Canterbury. But again, Canterbury says slots are not in their cards right now. Reporting live in Columbus, Naomi Peskovitz, 5 Eyewitness News.
Another bill introduced today, one to legalize gay marriage here in Minnesota. This comes just months after voters said no to a constitutional amendment to define marriage as between one man and one woman. Now, the Maine House and Senate authors are both Democrats, but they say they will have bipartisan support.
So our challenge over these coming weeks, even though I think this shouldn't be a huge deal, but according to some people it is a big deal, is that we really have this discussion with renewed energy to really talk about why marriage matters, why family matters.
No Republicans were part of that conference, but a dozen, though, attended a conference of their own speaking out against the bill.
There's lots of reasons to believe that Minnesota's public is not ready for same-sex marriage, and nor are they ready for the legislature to take it upon themselves to change it at this time.
One Republican, Senator Brandon Peterson, says he supports the bill.
The deadline for federal spending cuts is just 24 hours away. On Friday, $85 billion in automatic cuts will take place. Unlike the fiscal cliff or a potential government shutdown, there's little urgency these days in Washington. The president and congressional leaders only met for about 10 minutes today and don't have any plans for another meeting until Friday.
A company generally passes its expenses on to you when they sell a product, but a new state tax proposal may make that harder for local businesses.
We'll be somewhere between uncompetitive and irrelevant in their mind.
We find out how this 5.5% tax could turn profits into losses, salary cuts, even layoffs. Plus,
it'd be horrible. It would literally be horrible.
These are the trails tens of thousands of Minnesota snowmobilers flock to every winter. But a recent land sale to a timber company could put an end to the open trail business and jobs. Plus, a thrilling win for the Gophers following a number of horrible losses. And this guy is getting some of the credit. See how we can all learn a lesson to increase performance levels at our jobs coming up.
And that mild air is still here for now, but there's a change coming. I'm going to show you when it gets cooler, and some snow is on the way as well. I'll show you when with the forecast next.
The time to tune in to the world's greatest conspiracy is now.
Don't move, not even an inch.
0 Hour, all new Thursday on ABC. The 2-hour series premiere, Red Widow, Sunday on ABC.
When you need to make every wheel count, it's time for a symmetrical all-wheel drive Subaru from Bloomington Subaru. Bloomington Subaru is Minnesota's #1 sales leader. And with over 150 new Subarus in stock, you're bound to find yours at Bloomington Subaru. Easy to get to. 494 and Lindale, near the Mall of America.
Where are we going, darling?
To Certic's wine sale to save up to 40% on thousands of wines.
Oh, how exciting. You know, this car isn't real.
Yes, but the savings at Certic's are.
Brilliant.
Certic's, keeping you in good spirits since 1934.
Giving to scholarships at the University of Minnesota benefits more than our budding engineers, medical students, musicians, scientists, and future teachers. Your gift illuminates the entire state of Minnesota. Be a light for today's students at giving.umn.edu.
The extended President's Day sale ends Thursday. Honda monumental savings. 0.9 financing on CR-V. 0.9 financing on Pilot. 0.9 financing on Odyssey. Honda, the best value on the road. 1.9 financing on Accord. 1.9 financing on Civic. The monumental President's Day sale. Low finance rate offers. End soon. Honda monumental savings at your Central Minnesota and Twin Cities Honda dealers.
Once your crops are up and out of the ground, there isn't much you can do but watch and wait. You hope you don't get hail or wind, that the rains don't miss you or drown you out. And you think to yourself, did I do everything I could to get them ready for whatever's coming? Quilt Excel fungicide. Disease control is only the beginning.
Disney on Ice presents Worlds of Fantasy. See stars from Cars, The Little Mermaid, Toy Story, Tinkerbell, and the Disney Fairies.
For the first time ever in the Twin Cities, tickets start at $15. Coming to Target Center February 28th through March 3rd. Get your tickets today.
Log on to waterstellian.com to reserve your exclusive appliance stimulus rebate now.
We've had a little bit of a streak of some mild highs over the last couple of days. Actually, today was the third day in a row with 30-degree highs, and we're going to get a couple more. It looks like that streak will come to an end on Saturday with a high then of only about 28 degrees. The last time we had this kind of a streak, just a couple of weeks ago, February 10th through the 14th, 5 days in a row. We could match that if our highs stay up there around 30 degrees or plus as we get through Friday. Today's high, 38. It's 29 right now. 27 in Princeton, 28 up there in Cambridge. The record for the day, though, is 54, so we didn't even get close to that. That was set way back in the 1800s. 30 in New Richmond, 30 as well up in Osceola, 30 in Forest Lake, and it's 30 in White Bear Lake. So temperatures have slipped just below the freezing point, getting into that thaw-freeze cycle again. 29 officially, a north-northwest wind at around 8 miles per hour. That makes it feel like it's 21 degrees. And we get into that thaw and freeze cycle, of course, we start to see the potholes develop. And we're going to have the same thing happen again tomorrow. 23 to start out the day with a lot of cloud cover. It begins to break up again. So a day like we had today with a little sunshine popping through by the lunch hour, up to an even thaw at 32, up to 34 by 4. So a little bit cooler than what we had today, and a north wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour. There is colder air, though, just to our north, and that's going to start to sink southward. But here in the southern part of the state, temperatures again, the mid-30s, just about everywhere. 33 in Princeton, 32 up there in Cambridge. But northern Minnesota is where that cooler air is starting to sag. It's a high of only 23 expected in the International Falls, 24 up there in Roseau. And those are the types of highs that'll get here in the next couple of days. Now, we had that snow get very close to the Twin Cities. Right now, it's just in the western central portion of Wisconsin. It's getting close, kind of nudging this way. It extends from the west of Bloomer, Wisconsin, all the way down to just north of Rochester. It'll stay away from the Twin Cities overnight tonight, but the clouds are going to stick around through the night and then start to break up tomorrow. A little thinning at about 6:30 in the morning, more sunshine on and off throughout the day, and we're going to have even more sunshine on Friday, but it stays a little bit cooler with temperatures then only in the 30s, low 30s for highs. 23 for the overnight low tonight with mostly cloudy skies and north wind at 5 to 10. Tomorrow's high up to 34 with mostly cloudy skies and north winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. As we look ahead, temperatures cool down, as we said. By Friday, a high of 30, then 28 on Saturday. It stays dry for most of the weekend, but now the latest indications are that the snow could begin Sunday night and continue Monday into Tuesday, and that may be measurable snow. Something to watch. Leah?
All right, lots of Minnesotans not ready to be done with winter just yet, Dave. Thanks. We love to head up north, us Minnesotans, but we have learned that a significant piece of our outdoor playground could be shut down.
Yeah, a timber company is threatening to close land to the public if it doesn't get a tax break that was cut a few years ago. Now, I checked out this land in question and found the impact could be huge. Screaming along the trails near Lake Cabotogama in northern Minnesota, it's easy to see why so many Minnesotans make snowmobiling a way of life. Scott Allen Sawyer lives for this. The Minneapolis native even rides his sled to work.
It's not 35W, but it's priceless.
And it's not just locals. There are 253,000 registered snowmobiles in the state, and this is their playground.
Most of the people that come up here, 90% of them, come from the Twin Cities during the winter.
But all this fun and many other classic Minnesota activities could soon be shut down. A company called Mulpus Woodlands Group owns much of this land and is threatening to close it to the public. That would immediately impact hundreds of miles of state snowmobile trails.
It'd be horrible. It would literally be horrible.
Over the past year, yellow gates like this one have been going up on the edge of Mulpus lands. This one put up just a few months ago. If Mulpus decides to shut its land down to the public, that means hunters, snowmobilers, even people with cabins and hunting shacks wouldn't be able to access the property. The Mulpus land spread in Minnesota is remarkable. 286,000 acres, a third the size of Rhode Island, 12 times as big as the city of Minneapolis. What further complicates things is the way Mulpus land is laid out. It sprawls all across the top of the state, but it's patchy. They call it a checkerboard. You see, you could own hunting land here or a lake cabin here, but if Mulpus closes the land down, you could be shut out. Doesn't sound very Minnesota nice, does it?
The business model for owning land in northern Minnesota has changed.
Craig Halla is the Minnesota land manager for Mulpus, a company based in Mississippi. Mulpus purchased the land just last year. For decades, it was owned by Boise Cascade and has been open to the public as long as anyone can remember. Here's the problem. Before Mulpus bought it, 128,500 acres was enrolled in a program called the Sustainable Forest Incentive Act. That meant a tax rebate every year of about $2 million from the state in exchange for keeping the land open to the public. Under the Pawlenty administration, the program was capped at $100,000. But don't forget, Mulpus bought the land after that. Now, if Mulpus knew going in that that tax incentive had gone away, what grounds do you have to stand on?
We just need to be creative on how we generate revenue off this property. This is private land. It is owned by a set of investors. It's my job and the job of my staff to generate revenue from this property. Some at the Capitol call that hardball, but if a deal can't be reached, it'll be no trespassing, and that's what it'll be. It'll be private land with no trespassing.
And that could be devastating to area business owners like Steve Weber, who runs Ash Trail Lodge. He says snowmobilers are up to 33% of his annual business. On a good weekend, he can do $15,000, the majority from the Twin Cities, but close the land and...
We would close this place down during the winter.
And that, he says, would have a direct impact on many area jobs.
And this is a big part of our local economy. And snowmobilers spend a lot of money. I know because I check them out. I'm the one that gives them a bill.
This is a statewide problem.
Northern Minnesota legislators David Dill of Crane Lake and Senate Majority Leader Tom Bach of Cook negotiated a gentleman's agreement in the fall to keep the land open. So is the state going to solve this problem permanently?
Well, I mean, I don't know that we are.
Mulpus says that the current agreement ends at the end of the current legislative session. Bach says they're working on a solution, but says no guarantees.
Absent finding some revenue in some of the the recent sales tax that passed, or through the lottery proceeds, I think it's going to be very difficult.
Snowmobilers seem to have more faith.
I'm confident that level-headed men and women will sit down at a table and say this is huge.
Now, Representative Dill tells me a bill has been introduced to solve the problem, but it's on the back burner behind Governor Dayton's budget and tax bills. Leah, as for those cabin owners who have cabins that they can't access because of that property, Mulpus does say that they are willing to negotiate some access, but they may have to pay for that.
Well, is that one of the ways that they could try to generate some revenue they're looking for?
It is, but they probably wouldn't make money that way. They really would like to get the state back on board and get that tax rebate back. Maybe not $2 million like they used to get, but certainly a substantial amount of money.
We'll watch it this session, Bill.
Absolutely. Well, everyone is still talking about the Gophers' huge win over Indiana last night.
We wanted to know, what's their secret to that heart-stopping victory? We'll hear from a man who gave them quite the prep talk coming up. Plus, shattered windows, collapsed walls, debris everywhere. This is the damage an explosion did to a local daycare. We're going to hear from some of the people who were inside just minutes before the blast coming up. And a civil rights pioneer, now a permanent presence in the nation's capital. A tribute to Rosa Parks.
The Stars Will Fall, Tuesday, March 19th on ABC.
Hello, Twin Cities. I'm Ty Pennington, and it's time for the Minneapolis Home and Garden Show.
Get inspired and get started. February 27th through March 3rd at the Minneapolis Convention Center. 5 days only to shop, compare, and save with hundreds of experts all under one roof. Explore glorious gardens. Stroll through the Idea Home for fresh ideas.
Meet HGTV's Todd Davis and Nicole Curtis and Top Chef Chris Crary. February 27th through March 3rd at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Buy tickets online and save $2 at homeandgardenshow.com.
You either have it or you don't. Experience the graceful control, exceptional grip, and superior handling of a Mercedes-Benz 4MATIC, one of the most advanced all-wheel drive systems ever made. Available on 9 different model lines. See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for exceptional offers through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services.
Becker Furniture World is closing. That's right. Becker is closing early Thursday to mark down thousands of items in every department. Starting Friday morning, for 4 days only, you'll get huge 50 to 60% off savings on living rooms, dining rooms, bedrooms, accessories, area rugs, and more. They're all on sale. So get ready. This one-of-a-kind sale starts Friday morning at all Becker Furniture World locations. Don't miss it.
Keep your dog happy and healthy with nutritious Sprout dog food from Mills Fleet Farm. A 40-pound bag of Ultra 24 is $24.99. Sprout whole or cracked corn is on sale. Use it for feeding birds and livestock. It's just $10.49 for a big 50-pound bag. Resolute motor oil is just $1.99 a quart. And Fleet Farm bleach brightens your whites for 99 cents a gallon. Go to fleetfarm.com for more big savings.
Dodge of Burnsville is the king of Ram. Thanks to our loyal customers, we sell more Ram trucks than any area dealer. Others claim to be the sales leader for Ram trucks. Truth is, nobody sells more and nobody stocks more Ram trucks than Dodge of Burnsville. Price sells trucks and nobody beats the king on price. Come see our full lineup of Ram trucks. If we don't have it, we'll find it. If we can't find it, we'll custom build it, extra special for you. There's only one king of Ram trucks, Dodge of Burnsville. Go to kingofram.com.
5 Eyewitness News is presented by John Adamich's Dodge of Burnsville.
Saw this exciting win last night. Today, a sports psychologist is being credited with helping the Gophers upset top-ranked Indiana at the Barn. The theory here is if your mind right, the body will follow. The Gophers used emotional intelligence to pull it off. Nick Winkler is here now with how this idea can help all of us excel. Nick?
Well, Leah, we're all under pressure. The key is to make your emotions work for you rather than against you. When the Gophers did it, students stormed the court in victory. But before we show you how you can boost your performance, we asked the psychologists who helped the Gophers to help us. Look at that! Just like the Gophers, you too can reach new individual performance heights, not by stretching your body, but by stretching your mind. Argue that we can all perform at a higher level if we just change our thinking a little bit. How?
We need to think about how you're thinking. It's called metacognition, and the first thing we need to do is get awareness about how you're actually thinking.
Before we go on air, we're thinking hours ahead about live shots, weather forecasts, camera angles. But is the future what we should worry about? Gopher sports psychologist Dr. Justin Anderson says no. We invited him into the newsroom. We are wired to worry. That's what he's found. Mike, we got a 10 o'clock newscast. What's your number one worry tonight?
How this story's gonna go.
How this story's gonna go. While our 10 o'clock deadline is crucial, Dr. Anderson suggests everyone performs better if we focus on the now.
What happens with a lot of teams, why they struggle, is that they focus too far down the road. But most people don't live in the present. They live kind of in the past or in the future. And if we can bring it right here, present is where peak performance happens. So the deadline and all of that is a goal. But then if you're worrying about the deadline when you're having a conversation with me, how good is that conversation going to be? You can't be in that moment here and do the best work here and be fully engaged if you're worrying about that.
And if I focus on the most constructive piece right now, that's going to pay off on the air at 10 o'clock.
You will hit your goals and exceed your goals.
And here are 3 things the doc wants you to remember. First, build a strong physical foundation. Second, recognize when you're focusing on the negative. And finally, focus only on what you control. So, Bill, I sure do hope you think the story went well.
I was a little concerned at first, but in the end, I think you pulled it out, Nick. Thanks. Minnesota business owners speak out tonight against a key piece of Governor Dayton's budget proposal.
We'll be somewhere between uncompetitive and irrelevant.
in their mind.
Up next, a closer look at the impact of this so-called business-to-business tax. Plus, a little boy dropped off hundreds of yards from his home in the bitter cold. His mother says the driver did it on purpose, but why? We go to the district for answers. And this isn't a real shooting, but police are acting as if it is. The valuable lessons they're learning with this hands-on training.
Log on to waterstellian.com to reserve your exclusive appliance stimulus rebate now.
Slumberland's President's Sale ends this Saturday, and we're going out with a bang. We've put everything on sale, up to 60% off, and no interest for, count 'em, 4 years. Now through Saturday, Slumberland's President's Sale. Hail to the Chiefs.
Only Mazda is so obsessed with the future of driving that it's revolutionizing everything. SkyActiv technology makes vehicles stronger with a top safety pick and more fuel efficient, like the EPA estimated 40 mpg Highway Mazda 3, without compromising performance. We build Mazdas. What do you drive? Now, lease a 2013 Mazda 3 iSport for $169 a month plus $500 President's Day bonus cash.
Yes?
Hi, I'm here to collect $554 from each member of your family.
Oh, we didn't order anything.
Oh, I know. See, that's just your share for smoking-related illnesses. You see, last year, these illnesses cost Minnesota nearly $3 billion in excess health care.
But we don't smoke.
Oh, well, that's good. Will you be paying by cash or check?
Learn more at stillaproblem.com.
Your food, your clothes, even your fuel, it comes from right here.
We take great care to grow quality products. We're consumers just like you.
Who grows our quality of life? We do.
We're the people who grow your crops.
We're America's farm families.
Brought to you on behalf of America's farmers by Monsanto.
When we built the Cadillac ATS from the ground up to be the world's best sports sedan, people noticed. The all-new Cadillac ATS, 2013 North American Car of the Year. For a limited time, take advantage of this exceptional offer on the all-new Cadillac ATS.
Slumberland's President's Sale is all about the right price for the family economy. Get a Sealy Queen mattress set for just $299. Up to 60% off at Slumberland's President's Sale. Hail to the Chiefs.
Visit the Minneapolis Home and Garden Show, February 27th through March 3rd.
It's a whole new February at Subway. Enjoy favorites like the turkey breast as $5 footlongs and hearty subs like the steak and cheese as $6 footlong specials. Subway, eat fresh.
So an increase of tax is not an exported tax. It's an increase of tax on Minnesotans more than anything else.
Passionate debate, both for and against key components in Governor Dayton's budget. Dozens of people testified tonight at a House committee hearing about how these proposals could impact everyday Minnesotans. The governor's budget proposes lowering the sales tax, but expanding it to many things that are not taxed now.
It was designed to be a package that provided a way to solve the $1.1 billion deficit, a way to make investments in Minnesota, in education and health care and jobs, and a way to balance the budget going forward.
But many Minnesota businesses say that the added cost of a 5.5% sales tax on business-to-business services could result in layoffs and lower wages. 5 Eyewitness News reporter Tom Hauser profiles the potential impact on one Minnesota company.
All of our hotels have great spas.
A New York hotel representative makes a pitch to employees at Motive Action, a 37-year-old Minnesota company based in Plymouth.
We sell marketing and sales programs to large companies across the country.
Company president Joseph Keller says the governor's proposed business-to-business sales tax is a major threat to his company.
Our cost structure will go up 5.5% immediately. And nobody's business model can handle that and without significant implications.
The 100 employees of Motive Action create incentive programs for sales forces at major corporations. Those companies reward top salespeople with cruises, tropical trips, even European vacations. But those companies might stop hiring Motive Action if costs go up.
We're charging the same today or less for our services than we did 10 years ago.
Keller took to his corporate whiteboard to illustrate the impact of a 5.5% sales tax on the sale of a hypothetical $1 million marketing plan.
We're going to have a $50,000 operating income on $1 million program.
In other words, that's Motive Action's profit. But if they have to impose a 5.5% sales tax,
we're no longer going to make $50,000 because you have an additional cost of $55,000. So we're now going to lose $5,000 on a $1 million program.
Keller says in Motive Action's competitive industry, they can't pass that cost on to clients. They'd have to cut other costs.
It's going to be reducing compensation and benefits for existing employees. And possibly layoffs.
Motive Action sells to many Fortune 500 companies inside and outside Minnesota. They wouldn't have to charge the sales tax to companies based outside the state, but they fear many of their Minnesota clients would go elsewhere.
We'll be somewhere between uncompetitive and irrelevant in their mind.
Keller says every company is looking to drive down costs, and these numbers will cost his company sales.
This business model right here is not unique to Motive Action. This applies to virtually every business in Minnesota.
In Plymouth, Tom Hauser, 5 Eyewitness News.
The Dayton administration says that it wants to lower the corporate tax rate to help businesses. But business leaders say that it's not nearly enough to offset the proposed business service tax. These states, take a look, already tax business services in some way, but they differ from Minnesota. Take Hawaii.
And it's geographically isolated, so their degree of fiscal competition is different than other states.
And our neighbor, South Dakota, taxes services, but at 4%, lower than Minnesota's proposed 5.5% rate. And that's not all.
They also don't have as integrated Fortune 500 community in South Dakota that uses a lot of small businesses' services.
Hawaii, South Dakota, and New Mexico have no Fortune 500 companies. Minnesota has 19. Only 9 states have more. Minnesota is not the only state currently considering this kind of tax, though. Ohio's governor proposed something very similar. Bill?
A Brooklyn Center church has canceled services and their daycare is closed down after a boiler explosion. This is the damage. A cinder block wall blown down, doors blown off hinges, pipes twisted. The blast happened near the daycare inside the Brookdale Christian Center Tuesday evening when 6 kids were waiting to be picked up. Sue Mackey was with those kids and got them out safely. She came back then to see the damage.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea it was that bad. I had no idea at all it was that bad. I was more worried about
glad everyone was okay. Church members are counting their blessings, saying this could have been deadly had someone been in that area. The cost of that blast under investigation.
A teenage girl is dead after her car crashed into a school bus in southern Minnesota. Take a look. This was the scene this afternoon. This is on Highway 56 in Adams, that's southeast of Austin. State Patrol says that the driver of the car, 16-year-old Tess Lanher of Rose Creek, was killed when she lost control and slammed into the bus. One child on board had minor injuries. The bus driver is okay. A 6-year-old child dropped off hundreds of yards from his home in the bitter cold on purpose. That's what Amber Thayer says happened to her son Darian last week. Thayer says that her son has ADHD and wasn't listening to the bus driver's instructions. But she says the driver allowed his older brother off the bus into the family's Bemidji driveway, but then kept Darian on the bus, driving him hundreds of yards away from the family's home. Darian had to walk back with the wind chill near zero.
He's walking alone. The bus left him there and drove away and left him walking by himself, crying.
The school district says that the bus driver has resigned now and that a bus monitor who was also on board will be formally interviewed soon.
Police officers are trained to handle nearly any situation. Today, they put their medical training to the test when gunshots rang out around them. Hennepin County Medical Center is offering the only active scenario medical training for police officers in the country right now. Through this hands-on EMT training, officers leave the classroom behind and learn medical skills they need through real-life scenarios.
The goal for actually doing this was to make them really good at what they do under very, very hard circumstances so that when they can do it under easy circumstances, they can perform it flawlessly.
Course generally costs about $400 per police officer. That's only $100 more than the standard classroom EMT course. Well, she refused to give up her seat on a bus 58 years ago. Now she's being remembered and honored in our nation's capital, the permanent tribute to this civil rights pioneer. And a tent search tonight for one of these fan favorites at baseball games across the border. We have a happy outcome to report tonight. Chris?
Makes me hungry. Perennial powerhouse Edina tried to book yet another trip to the boys' state hockey tournament tonight. And another Big Ten team has already topped the Gophers' huge upset over Indiana. We're going to show it to you in sports.
And I'm meteorologist Ken Barlow. We've got a big spiraling area of snow going on just to the east and southeast. It is clipping Minnesota. I'll let you know if we'll make any progress toward the rest of the state. Coming up in just a few minutes.
They see me rolling, they hating. Patrolling and trying to catch me riding dirty. Trying to catch me riding dirty.
Hi there.
Why do we always have to take your mom's car?
The security of an IIHS top safety pick, the 2013 Volkswagen Tiguan. That's the power of German engineering.
Right now, lease a 2013 Tiguan for $219 a month.
Hi, I'm Rachel Shamblatt. My dad is Dr. Scott Shamblatt from Shamblatt Family Dentistry. He loves taking care of people and teeth. Some people are afraid of the dentist, but you don't have to be. My dad makes going to the dentist comfortable and even fun. If you need a dentist, come and see my dad. If you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
Shamblatt Family Dentistry. Open Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Fridays till 4:30. And now open Saturday too.
Here's a deep question. What do you get when you take real fruit, which is great, blend it into a delicious smoothie, which is also great, put that smoothie in a world-famous Orange Julius smoothie shop, totally great, and put that Orange Julius smoothie shop in a Dairy Queen, which is unbelievably great? You get something great inside something great inside something great inside something great. Now put that something great inside you and feel great. Orange Julius Premium Fruit Smoothies, made with real fruit and yogurt. Always at the mall and now at Dairy Queen.
Previously on Doc Hollywood.
So everybody's still talking about the movie Lincoln. Sally Field plays Mrs. Lincoln in that movie. She's been very public about dealing with osteoporosis. Can you tell us what that is and how you treat it?
Osteoporosis is an abnormal thinning of the bones. We can treat it with medicines if we diagnose osteoporosis. I like to look at it like a lifelong prevention strategy. At a young age, start getting your calcium and vitamin D and work on weight-bearing exercise.
Watch Twin Cities Live every Wednesday for more Doc Hollywood.
Enjoy some new wheels and get a new lease on life when you shop at Maury's 394 Hyundai. Right now, lease a 2013 Hyundai Sonata for $199 a month, or get an even better deal when you lease a 2013 Hyundai Elantra for $159 a month. Look good and feel good too with America's best warranty, Hyundai Assurance, and Maury's Buy Happy Promises. Search Maury's Hyundai online or find us at Maury's 394 Hyundai at Louisiana Avenue. Your place to buy happy.
Log on to waterstellian.com to reserve your exclusive appliance stimulus rebate now.
It is time to start thinking about spring and sprucing up your home. The Minneapolis Home and Garden Show opened today at the Minneapolis Convention Center. And you can check out hundreds of exhibits with products, ideas, and tips ranging from renovating to decorating to gardening and cooking. The Home and Garden Show runs through Sunday. You'll find all the information about it on our links page at KSTP.com. And in case you're going to be out there tomorrow, you can see Ken Barlow. If you're going Friday,
what are you
Bill's
doing?
going to be there cooking.
I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah, you're doing everything.
I'm hosting TCL with
Elizabeth Reese.
Elizabeth Reese, thank you.
Get that down by tomorrow.
She's gonna kill me tomorrow. And also I'm doing the 4:35, 6 and 6:30.
You'll be out there the whole time?
So I'll be out there the whole day.
He's moving in for
But
the
you're
week.
cooking.
I'm curing. I'm going to cure some salmon on Friday.
Ooh, nobody asked me to cook. And for very good reason.
Yeah, and we know why.
Yes, you do. Let's look at the temperature map now and also the radar because we've got some snow on there. Look at this, down to the southeast. Kind of sneaking in. It's literally doing that. It's moving backwards. It's called retrograding. This system out here was moving out to sea, but it kind of stacked up, meaning that there were no steering winds to move it along. So it's just sitting there spinning around. As it does, it's weakening, but it is still enough to spit out a little bit of snow in the southeast. Look, a little bit of snow down there well to the southeast, pretty much of the viewing area. Those of you who can see us in Rochester, we do get emails from folks there. There is some snow flurry activity there. Also off to the north and west, a couple of flurries possible. Look, as close as portions of Goodhue County. So yeah, a couple of flurries out there from that massive, what was a blizzard, is now a snowstorm for just Maine up there in the northeast. But otherwise, just quiet back at home. 29 in Minneapolis and St. Paul, both in the upper 20s. Hanging on to 30 in Bloomington. Watertown is only 21. 28 at Blaine. That's a very common temperature, as you can see here on this larger view. 32 at Menominee under thicker clouds. And Red Wing, don't be surprised. You'll have to kind of look up at the light and squint a little bit, but you may see a snowflake or two tonight. But no travel problems expected there. But in those areas, extreme southeast Minnesota, down around Caledonia and over into La Crosse, Wisconsin, there could be some slick roads there with a dusting, but that's about it. 29 tonight, right now rather, northwest winds at 8, giving us a wind chill of 21 degrees. And that wind chill is going to be around a little bit tomorrow morning, but not like it was today. It really felt chilly out there, even though it was close to 40 degrees. Tomorrow, not as warm, but still mild. 30s all over the state, except here comes some cooler air that'll crash our 30s party here by the weekend. 23 tonight, mostly cloudy and cooler. And again, extreme southeast parts of the viewing area could see some snow flurries. 34, mostly cloudy, still mild tomorrow. Expect some sunshine, though. And then we move through Friday, 30. There's the party crasher, but not by much. 28 degrees, still a pretty decent weekend on the way. Snow, though, develops on Monday, Bill. Just because it turns to March, of course, does not mean we turn the page on winter.
Right, that can be a snowy month. Thanks, Ken. One of the faces of the civil rights movement is now immortalized in our nation's capital.
Rosa Parks held no elected office. She possessed no fortune, lived her life far from the formal seats of power. And yet today she takes her rightful place among those who've shaped this nation's course.
President Obama helped unveil a statue of Parks today in the Capitol Statuary Hall. Parks made headlines in 1955 for refusing to give up her seat on a crowded, segregated bus in Montgomery, Alabama. She was arrested, and that act of defiance was one of the sparks that began the civil rights movement. Parks died in 2005 at the age of 92.
Tonight, the case of a missing link in Milwaukee has a very happy ending.
Yeah, but it was a tense few days with an all-out search for the Italian racing sausage, or at least the costume. You see it at the Milwaukee Brewers games. It was last seen February 16th at a fundraiser in the suburb of Cedarburg. The company even offered a year's supply of mustard for the costume's safe return. 2 people last night showed up at a Cedarburg bar with the costume. They reportedly dropped it off and told staffers, "You never saw us," and then they left.
They got it back. That's really all that counts. The first bids to the state hockey tournament have been handed out as section finals got underway. Edina needed a late 2-goal rally to survive their semifinal. They advanced to face Burnsville in the section final. Burnsville would get on the board first. They're thinking upset at Mariucci. The rebound pops out to Ian Taylor. He gives it a good home in the first. But the Hornets come back with 3 straight goals. Andy Jordahl scores off the feed from behind the net. They'd make it a 2-1 game when the Burnsville keeper has a little trouble behind the net. Dan Heinuber makes him pay. Edina wins it narrowly 3-2. They celebrate their 7th straight trip to the state tournament. They'll get a shot to add to those record 10 state championships. Wayzata looking to halt Benilde St. Margaret's effort to defend their state title from last year. Chase Jungle scored a pair of early goals for the Red Knights. That one right off the draw put them ahead 2-1 in the second. Wayzata didn't go away. Jalen Wall has had a big postseason. The wrister from the circle finds the twine, credit it to Wall, and we're tied at 2. From there, Wayzata blew it open. They'd score 4 unanswered goals. Look at the one-timer from Chandler Lindstrand. There will be a new champion in AA. Benilde is out. Wayzata goes to state. They win it 5-2. The Gophers' upset win over top-ranked Indiana does a couple things. It pretty much puts them into the NCAA tourney, barring a complete collapse the next couple weeks. It also gets people off Tubby Smith's back, at least for the moment. It was the first time since 1989 the Gophers beat a #1 team. Also gave the fans a long-awaited chance to storm the old court. The Gophers prove they can play with the best, and it's a win they will not soon forget.
Well, they'll take this and be able to show their families and their kids for years and years that this is what I was part of. And especially for the student body and fans who were part of it last night. They can look at that and say, hey, I was there when this happened.
But the upset of Gophers' upset of Indiana is not even the biggest shocker this week in the conference. Penn State took down number 4 Michigan tonight in Happy Valley. The Nittany Lions were 0-14 in the Big Ten. Sure enough, Penn State visits the barn Saturday afternoon. Up next, a friendly face in Fort Myers tries to take it to his former team. We're going to catch up with Ben Revere straight ahead.
The time to tune in to the world's greatest conspiracy is now.
Don't move, not even an inch.
0 Hour, all new Thursday on ABC.
The 2-hour series premiere, Red Widow, Sunday on ABC.
The plain and simple facts, they just can't be denied. Yet another reason to love the 2013 Santa Fe. It's a top safety pick, that's a fact. It's beyond gorgeous, another fact. And there's no denying it just won a 2013 ALG Residual Value Award. Bet the fact checkers won't believe this.
Now lease a Santa Fe for $269 a month, plus get a $750 valued owner coupon. But only at your Twin Cities Hyundai dealers.
The home show sale is back at Fireside Hearth & Home. Heat up your home improvement with big savings on our complete line of fireplaces, stoves, and inserts. Save up to $600 when you upgrade your old drafty fireplace with an energy-efficient heat source, or when you transform an unused room into a warm, inviting gathering place. It's that easy. Plus, right now, you can also take advantage of interest-free financing and get a free remote upgrade. It's the home show sale, going on now through March 17th, only at Fireside Hearth & Home.
My name's Tom Schultz. I'm a level 3 PSI certified ski instructor. Basically, we just sell fun. I've had, students from the age of 2 to 82. They come into the sport and they might be a little nervous, and by the time I'm done with them, they've totally mastered what they're doing on the snow, and they're having a great time. They're smiling, they're on their own, and I know they're gonna come back and enjoy the sport for a lifetime. The fresh air in your face, that little bite of chill on your cheeks, and then the feel of the snow underneath your feet. There's just nothing like it. So get out to a ski area this winter and learn how to ski or snowboard.
Nah.
The Grand Story Giveaway is back and better than ever at Grand Casino. Share your most memorable tale March 1st through April 30th, and you could win $10,000. Grand Casino, the best stories start here.
People choose Quick Trip every morning for
half calf triple whip double soy mocha latte or late.
No, our freshly brewed coffees and
fruit berry scone.
Actually, our freshly baked muffins and glazers and
wheatgrass.
Quick Trip has what you really want. Pick up a breakfast combo, including your choice of Kitchen Cravings breakfast sandwich and a 16-ounce Karuba coffee or cappuccino for only $2.99 every day. Stop at Quick Trip instead.
The Nissan Now event for better directions. Follow Nissan buyers to Klein Nissan in Maplewood. Now, save thousands at the #1 Nissan dealer 4 years running. Klein Nissan in Maplewood. Now, choose from our best lineup ever. Now, get a trade allowance so big it defies the imagination. Hurry, truly, the best time to buy a Nissan is now at Klein Nissan on Highway 61 North in Maplewood.
Twins pitcher Kevin Correa got one more start today before leaving Fort Myers to join his wife as she's about to give birth. He gave up 3 runs in 2 1/3 against Philadelphia, but the Twins still won thanks to an explosion at the plate. Ryan Domit sends this 3-run homer in the 4th. His first of the spring, the Twins pounded out 17 hits in a 12-5 win. The Twins also got to see an old friend during the Phillies game. Ben Revere caught up with some of his former teammates before the game. He was traded to Philly in the offseason for pitchers Vance Worley and Trevor May. Revere had a couple hits and scored a couple runs against his old team. He also took some time to thank the Twins after the game.
No, the reason why, I'm here, it's just, they just worked for me from 2007 on to now, make me a better player. And, it's just getting a chance to go through an organization was a blessing.
You're such a good dude. Hey, one last note. Congrats to Joe Mauer and his wife, Maddie. They are expecting twins. Pretty fitting. Up next in the nightcap, some very clever fans find a way to beat being banned from their stadium.
Hey, Marta. I'm praying that you never see this, because if you're watching, something went really wrong. Now it's up to you.
Ford is the #1 brand in the Northland, with 7 models offering an EPA-rated 40 mpg or better. And right now, get an extra $1,000 auto show bonus cash on every Ford model. It's time to celebrate with Ford. Get an auto show bonus payment on Focus of $159 a month or up to $2,750 cash back. Visit NorthlandFord.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today.
Transform your life, your home, and your bathroom in just one day. It's easy with bath wraps from Window Concepts of Minnesota.
Now, for a limited time, receive free fixtures and plumbing with the purchase of a tub and wall system.
Call Window Concepts now for a free estimate, and just to say thanks, we'll give you this gift basket. Call 1-888-712-1733 or log on to windowconceptsmn.com.
A passion to be the best. It's what separates good companies from great ones. At Mattress Firm, our passion is helping over 1 million Americans a year sleep happy. It's a passion that drives us to train harder, deliver faster, and do all those little intangible things that have made us America's #1 mattress store and the place more people turn to save money and sleep happy. Get a Tempur-Pedic mattress starting at just $6.99 at America's #1 Tempur-Pedic retailer, Mattress Firm.
Here, this will stand up to just about anything. You okay, sir?
Absolutely. If it's in your nature to love the great outdoors, get ready. Cabela Spring Great Outdoor Days is here. It's our biggest sale and event of the season with huge discounts on the latest gear from all your favorite brands. Plus, check out our Saturday 8 a.m. doorbusters and free seminars. Don't miss Cabela Spring Great Outdoor Days. In-store or online at Cabela's.com.
Hello, Twin Cities. I'm Ty Pennington, and it's time for the Minneapolis Home and Garden Show.
Get inspired and get started. February 27th through March 3rd at the Minneapolis Convention Center. 5 days only to shop, compare, and save with hundreds of experts all under one roof. Explore glorious gardens. Stroll through the Idea Home for fresh ideas. Meet HGTV's Todd Davis and Nicole Curtis and Top Chef Chris Crary. February 27th through March 3rd at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Buy tickets online and save $2 at homeandgardenshow.com.
Log on to waterstellian.com to reserve your exclusive appliance stimulus rebate now.
For the nightcap, all the fans of a soccer team in Turkey were banned from their stadium after they threw fireworks on the field in an earlier game. So what'd they do? Found a way to shoot flares into the air attached to little parachutes, which descended fairly spectacularly into their empty stadium. With all the fans banned, the team had put a jumbotron up outside to let the fans see the game. That's how they thanked them. They do expect another full crowd band for their next game. Who knows what they're going to come up with for that one. Don't do that, but
it's not really good for ticket sales, is it?
Clever and creative, but yeah, don't do that.
You got to have fans in the stadium.
Like the way you always have to put a little disclaimer there.
Yeah.
Don't do it,
Yeah.
but it was great. Look at the 7-day forecast. We have, once again, 30s all across the board, except for a couple of little hiccups there, but no big deal. Could be some accumulating snow, though, by Monday.
Thank you, Ken, and thanks for staying up with us.
Have a good day, everyone.
Good night.